I've played a lot of games. I've also played a lot of games that I would call social experiments. Games which aim to mix up the conventional formula of multiplayer competition. Games like 1 Hour, 1 Life, a game in which your character only lives for 1 hour. You're born as the child of another player. That player raises you. You go out into the world, age, share your objectives with the new generation you've raised, and die. All in 1 hour. More recently, I reviewed a game called Aneurysm 4. The game world in Aneurysm is a hostile police state riddled with parasites, plague, and rebellion. Your job is simply to survive while working strict jobs. The fun in these games comes from player interaction informed by the world itself. It's back and forth role-playing and improv between the players and the game. I bring these up because of a new game I've been obsessed with, called Arc Raiders. On the surface, Arc Raiders looks nothing like 1 Hour, 1 Life or Aneurysm, and that's because it's really not. It's an extraction shooter in the vein of Escape from Tarkov. You load into a map, loot, kill, and survive, or die. Should you die, you lose everything you brought with you. Extraction shooters are inherently hostile, and the high cost of raiding makes joining new matches very stressful. You ask yourself questions like, what do I bring? What am I willing to lose? Arc Raiders, on a surface level, is a sci-fi twist on the Slav core classic. You loot buildings of varying value, fight drones, other players, and run away from large robots. The game itself is extremely fun, but something unexpected happened that I've never seen happen in a game before. You may have heard about this already, but Arc Raiders players have accidentally split it into 2 different games. Loading into a raid with a team of 2 or 3 results in nothing surprising. You get loot, you fight, it's all fantastic, but it's expected. However, when you load into a game solo, by yourself, something different happens. Loading in solo should be the most stressful version of the game. You versus the world. There is no help, no one to revive you, no one to stop the drones and other players from demolishing you. This is what you'd expect, but what you get is something different. The players are friendly. They chat, they work together, and they share loot. The same hostile streets are flipped completely on their heads. I don't think the developers planned for this to happen, and yet, it did. It's like watching life emerge from the perfect conditions spontaneously. Not because it was planned, but because this moment, these conditions, are the perfect ones for it to exist. So why do I think spontaneous cooperation emerged? I believe it has to do with multiple converging systems accidentally rewarding cooperation only in solos. The first system is the Ark, the drones. The enemies are balanced in such a way that surviving solo is not impossible, but difficult. Drones such as Hornets have weak spots behind them, but will turn to face you when engaging. This creates the perfect opportunity for someone to help you out. Other enemies like Leapers, Bombardiers, and Sentinels have the same mechanics and enough health that they are tough with a group, but hard and almost impossible solo. The second system is proximity voice chat. Being able to communicate directly with strangers allows for more complex communication and cooperation. Communication is inherently cooperative. You don't need to tell someone you're gonna kill them. The third system is the free kit. Unlike Tarkov, Ark allows you at any time to go on a raid with random low-level gear rather than something you bring. It's low risk, but also low reward. You can do it to get quests done with low stakes, or just reduce the stress of starting a match. The fourth system is matchmaking. When you load in solo, you are only in queue with other solo players. You don't have to contend with teams who exist in a totally different gameplay environment. The fourth system, and largely the most impactful, is the oppressive atmosphere of the game. This is the most aesthetic of what I'm calling systems, but if you'll forgive me, I believe this is the final piece of the emerging puzzle. So, how did it emerge? The reason I believe this has to emerge is because of the game's competitive nature. Something had to happen to flip the script. Here's what I think redefined the experience on solo. Solo players feel extremely overwhelmed loading into the game alone. Perhaps they need to do a quest, perhaps they just don't feel comfortable queuing with random people in their squad. They will most likely load in with a free kit or bad gear given the high risk of going in alone. High chance of failure means players bring worse gear. This disincentivizes PvP because of the high cost of a fight, the risk of failure, and the low reward. Additionally, drones will be attracted to you from the fight, so you have to expend more resources defending yourself from the oppressive fight after you've engaged in PvP. This is something that is manageable with a team, but costly for solo. Voice chat allows players to verbally warn and socially condemn player killing. The utilitarian nature of the game, especially with quests, leads to players likely not interacting with each other out of shared knowledge of each other's situation. Now, players eventually realize that forming parties, even temporarily, makes local interactions easier for the whole. This is because of the intense, stressful atmosphere as well as the drone's ability to call in reinforcements being a burden on all those in the vicinity. At this point, you have players casually ignoring each other rather than attacking on sight, and helping each other out in small ways at their own benefit. Since PvP is disincentivized, and cooperation becomes mutually beneficial, it becomes the norm. Emotionally, players feel better giving and receiving help from others. Small acts of kindness build connections between players, reinforcing the atmosphere of the game mode. A reinforced atmosphere creates expectations between multiple raids, and thus, your friendly solo mode is born. That's not to say people don't PvP in solo mode. As word gets around that solo is filled with pacifists, there will be opportunists seeking to take advantage of this situation. Especially don't expect people to be friendly on damn Battlegrounds solo for some reason. On the whole, I think that friendly solo phenomena is unique and worth talking about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.